Okay, today we're going to take you from start to finish on how you can do up some ribs on the offset smoker using the 3-2-1 method. This will probably be one of our longest videos so far, also be the last one in 720p, so let's get started.
Okay, first you're going to remove the membrane. Just get your knife under there, get it loosened up. And sometimes you can get it off in one piece. Just like that.
Okay, now we're going to trim this back so that all we're left with is the rib bones. Find the end of your rib bones. This part takes a little bit of patience. We're not going to drag that whole thing out here. So let's cut to the chase. Okay then, I guess you could trim this off, but I think we're going to go ahead and leave it on. Alright, we got that just about down, so all we got is bones left.
Okay, we trim these up a little bit more. Cut off these pieces that will also cook. They won't take as long, so we can have a snack. Sprinkle some rub on. These are ready for the smoker.
Alright, I like my charcoal using the side burner. Seems faster and cleaner than using the newspaper anyway. For about 15 minutes we'll be ready to go. Alright, charcoal's ready. Let's get the show on the road here. Oh, in case you're wondering what that is in front of the camera, Mr. Spider's building his web there. Alright, our coals are ready. Let's go get these ribs. That little webcam is really working at its limits out there in the sunlight. Anyway. Okay, several opinions here. Some people like to preheat the smoker. Probably nothing wrong with that. I put the meat on while the smoker's cold. You'll also notice I'm using the chunks and chips. I got a mixture of hickory and cherry, and I've obviously soaked them in water. I think you get a little bit better smoke, some moisture maybe in there, steam. Also gives you a little bit better control over the temperature of your fire. Just one tip, probably pretty much universal. Once you put that meat on, don't open the lid for at least an hour. It's not going to be done. There's nothing to see in there. That's right. Just sit back, let that smoke work its magic on your, well, meat. You will need to keep an eye on the fire. I'm going to add some more wood here. I like to put pretty heavy smoke for the first hour or so, but you want to keep that smoke between 250 and 275. Okay, an hour's gone by. We're going to go ahead and put a mopping sauce on these. Links for this mopping sauce and for the dry rub, both in the description of the video. Feel free to use your own, of course, but these are going to give you some good flavor. We're going to go ahead and flip these littler pieces, get the mopping sauce on both sides. I know some people do it. I don't ever flip the ribs though. I cook them bone side down the whole time. About halfway through, I like to turn them around so they cook the same on both sides. But other than that, just leave them be. And I'm going to throw on a couple more handfuls of this wood though. I want to keep that fire and that smoke up for just a little while longer here. Okay, we're about 90 minutes into this, and it's time to stoke the fire with another load of charcoal. These littler pieces are getting real close to being done. We're going to go ahead and put a nice coat of barbecue sauce on these. We're just using a commercial sauce, but you use whatever you like. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. We're going to go ahead and flip these littler pieces, get some barbecue sauce on the other side, hit them up for another 15 minutes or so, then they'll be ready to come off. Alright, it's been another 15 minutes or so. That brings us to about 2 hours total here. We're going to go ahead and mop down these ribs again. You also notice that our friend the spider is back. Well, these smaller pieces are done. Good thing too, because I'm ready for a snack. Okay, we made a couple little mistakes right here. Didn't ruin the day or anything like that, but our intention was to put these in foil, show you how to do the crutch, tenderize these ribs, but as you can see, those ribs are done. There's no reason to do this. The second mistake that'll become obvious later was grabbing those ribs in the middle and letting them bend like that. Anyway, We're putting some more mopping sauce on these, and then we're just going to put some apple juice in there and wrap these in aluminum foil, put them back on the grill. And the idea here is that you're going to tenderize up your ribs faster than just leaving them on the smoker. You usually have to make some adjustments, so this was no exception, and it's a valid demonstration of the procedure nonetheless. This was a little bit smaller rack of ribs, and since I didn't want to run out of daylight before we were finished, I ran the temperatures a little bit higher. Regardless, after 30 or 45 minutes, you're going to want to pull this off and check for tenderness. In most cases, you're going to be ready to start putting sauce on them. This is no exception, of course, so we're going to go ahead and slather these with some barbecue sauce and move them back onto the smoker. We don't want to watch our temperature now. We probably don't want to be 200, 220 maybe, or you'll burn the sauce. And here, of course, is where I pay for bending that rack of ribs. I end up with 2 racks of ribs. I bet nobody noticed though, huh? Let's get some sauce on those. Alright, we're going to let that sauce set for about 15 minutes here. I'm going to also toss on another handful of wood chips and put a little smoke on that. I guess I'll just straighten this thing out a little bit more too there, you know. Maybe it'll grow back together or something. "15, 20 minutes has gone by, so it's time to put another layer of this barbecue sauce on. That's how you get it to be nice and thick and sticky, is to just put 2-3 layers on there. I'm going to go ahead and throw the last of my wood chips on here also. Another 15-20 minutes and these ribs will be done. Alright, got about 3.5 hours total time here, and these ribs are ready to come off the smoker. So there you have it. Nice tender ribs with that sticky sweet heat sauce on them. What could be better? Let's cut these up and eat. There you go. Barbecue spare ribs on the smoker using the 3-2-1 method. Really about 3.5 hours here, so it's not 6 hours. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you did, and thanks for watching. Oh, God, is it finally over?